guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and same here with the video. I love doing every year, but it also kind of makes me annoyed. So I am going to be talking about the books I think that are going to be on the Goodreads Choice Awards list for 2022 for romance. So I do this video every year. My friend Lacey does this every year from Lacey Book Lovers. I will definitely link hers down below once she posts hers. I'm assuming she's doing it. We were just chatting on our live show yesterday about this video, and I don't know what's going to be on this list. I can never predict what Goodreads wants to do. I will tell you, I expect every single cover to be illustrated, and I expect them to be books that are not necessarily the best of the year, but the ones that had the most money from the publisher and the ones that blew up the most on TikTok. Now, TikTok was around last year, but I feel like it really blew up certain books this year, and there are authors that are on the list every year. And I don't know how I feel about these books. So I've read a few, and I have a lot, like my list is more than 20. So we're gonna see, I have like 10 that I'm like for sure, I think we're gonna see these on the list. Then I have, well, more like 12. Then I have like 10 more that I'm like, I could see these being on there because of the patterns that Goodreads has shown us throughout the years. So I don't think they're gonna have write-ins this year. Again, last year they did not. Their stipulation is that it is from November like 16th, I think, like when the competition starts, of last year to November of this year, November 16th. So I do have one that comes out in November, and I think that's the only one that I have on this list because that author was on the list last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and get like the complete obvious ones out of the way. So first one, I don't know if this author will take 2 of the spots up because it's Colleen Hoover. This just came out. It's already got like 40,000 ratings on it. The book that wins the Goodreads Awards every year is not the most loved, it's the most read. While they might not have the highest ratings, they were definitely the most read of the year. It Starts With Us. I love Colleen Hoover, but I'm gonna be very annoyed if she wins. I'm just gonna put that out there. I do have one that I have high hopes for winning. We have 2 Colleen Hoovers. This one I gave 3 stars. This one I gave 3 stars. So I was not the biggest fan of these, though It Ends With Us is one of my favorite books of all time. We have 2 by her that, I mean, she literally is selling more than the Bible at this point this year on Amazon. So I would not be surprised if both of these showed up on the list and it came in like 1 and 2 place. Even though that's gonna be annoying, that could happen. So Colleen's definitely gonna be on that list. We also have Emily Henry. I think every book of her adult books has been on this list. We've had Beach Reads and People We Meet on Vacation, and I think People We Meet on Vacation won last year. People are obsessed with her. I read this and gave it 3 stars. Like, I am not impressed by traditionally published romances this year. And, well, I guess these break the chain of the illustrated covers, but there's no people on them. But I have not loved a lot of traditionally published romances, and that's all I think that's going to be on this list. So Book Lovers will for sure be on that list. People love it. It is a contender to win because everybody's like obsessed with Emily Henry. Then one that I am probably going to be seeing because this author, Goodreads loves her even though she's not really a romance author, it is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I was talking to Lacey yesterday though, and she loved this book, so I did get it from my library to read. I did really actually enjoy her first book that was on the list I think 2 years ago, and that like I had seen, and I really enjoyed that one. This one is a bodyguard romance, I guess. It's all I know about it, and I do know that she though does very much toe the line between women's fiction and romance. Goodreads does not know the definition of romance, and they will put tons of women fictions on this list, so we'll see what they do, but I'm excited to read this one actually, so we'll see if it ends up on the list and if I like it, because I have high hopes actually for this one. Then we have Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. This is another one that Christina Lauren shows up like on their list every year without fail. Christina Lauren is really just like a staple in the romance genre, even though they are all fade to black now, which is very disappointing because they could write some good spice in their past books. This one I have not read yet either, but I did get it from my library. I'm trying to read these before the list comes out, so if I want to do a video where I read their top 20, I will at least have read a lot of them. But this one I also don't own either, but I think it's like a treasure hunting one, which does sound interesting, but I did not like the Soulmate Equation. I did not like their holiday one. I haven't liked anything really since the Unhoneymooners, so I don't know. This will probably show up on the list. I don't know if I like it. We also, I don't think I own this one, Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. She is a staple as well to the romance genre. People love her books. I read this one. I gave it like 3.5 stars. Again, I was very underwhelmed by it. It was just fine. What was it? Her sister story? Like, I can't even remember the plot. And wasn't it like Brendan's friend People were obsessed with the first book in the series, and again, I was underwhelmed by that one. I was underwhelmed by this one. Tessa Bailey is an author I've been pretty underwhelmed with lately, but people, again, are obsessed with her. I'm excited for her next indie published book, which is a Why Choose romance, and I'm not that excited for her new traditionally published romance that comes out next year. So people love Tessa Bailey though. She'll probably end up on the list as well. She is on it every year. Then we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Again, another fade to black romance, towing the line on women's fiction. Goodreads loves Abby Jimenez. I feel like you will only see mostly Berkeley, Avon, and Forever books on this list. They don't really love to spread the love, especially indie romances, so this one's a Forever romance though. This one, I have heard good things though. So again, I got it from my library to see if I'd like it. I enjoyed The Friend Zone and the second book. The third one I did not like, and I'm pretty sure every single year she's on this, and people have been really loving this though. I do think though it is a older woman, younger man, and that makes me very excited because I love that trope so much. So I am definitely intrigued to read this. I'm going in with lower expectations, but kind of high hopes because friends have loved it, so I got the audio, but we'll see if I like it. But Abby Jimenez is always on there. We're not surprised if that one shows up as well. Again, another illustrated cover. We do have two obvious ones as well. We have the staple TikTok books. So we have Allie Hazelwood and Elena Armas. I have not seen as many people reading this, but I feel like we're gonna see this. People were obsessed with the first books of these. I'm pretty sure The Spanish Love Deception was the only indie published book last year, but it has since then been picked up by Atria. So we also have Love on the Brain, which is a Berkeley romance, and I have not read either of these yet either, though I did get to meet both authors when they went to Joseph Beth in Cincinnati. They are lovely people. I really love them, so I am excited to read these because surprisingly I loved the first books of both of these, but I don't know if I will love them, but I do actually have high hopes because I really do love these authors and they are lovely people, and I think that their first books do deserve a lot of hype because I think they were pretty good. The first one to this one I did give 4 stars, but I gave the first one to this one 5 stars, so we'll see how I feel about these. I also love the color scheme with the pink and the blue. It's amazing, so I would not be sad if these two were on that list because I myself do love them. So these are high priorities for me to read soon as well because I just haven't gotten to them yet. I will say these two I think are the only ones that were indie when they were published that I think are going to be on this list. So these two here, if Things We Never Got Over does not win, I will be astounded, unless it's Colleen Hoover, unless it's It Starts With Us. But this book has been in the top 10 on Amazon since it released in February. Like, nothing can knock this book off of the bestsellers on Amazon list, and I loved it. Now, Bloom Publishing did pick this up. Bloom has been picking up like every single book. Bloom picked up this series as well. But this one is just such a good grumpy hero, kind of small town romance, and I just really enjoyed this one. So I would not be sad if this one, I think I gave it 5 stars. I listened to the audiobook. It was super cute. There was a child in here as well. It was her niece, but it felt very single parent as well, and it was fun. I liked it. So it did get like a little bit mustache twirly at the end, like there was this like over the top kidnapping that happened, but very fun read. I would love to see this in the final and as a winner because this is like hugely popular, but also I would love to see Anna Huang on that list because this series has blown up on TikTok, and I just looked on Goodreads and I'm pretty sure this has over 80,000 ratings. Now I don't know though if they would choose this one or the 4th one. I feel like there's more love for Josh. Is this Josh's book? I haven't even read this yet. Yeah, so it's Josh's book. I feel like there has definitely been more love for his book than I've seen for the 4th book, but Goodreads really doesn't care what people think. They just choose. I think like they just like throw darts and pick out what they want to put on this list. But this one I would like to see on the list. If it's not this one, it'll probably be book 4, but this one I have high hopes for being on there, which I'd be very happy for. It is an author who really made a name for herself. I feel like both of these definitely made a name for themselves on their own without a publishing house, which I find very impressive, especially with Lucy Score, but Anna Huang was doing the work and people love her books, and I would love to see her on the list as well. I've only read the first 2, so I definitely want to read Twisted Hate. But another one that I would love to see on the list that I'm pretty sure will be on it is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Emezi. This one I did not even know was a romance, and I feel like this is going to be on there because 7 Days in June was on there last year, and I had not even heard of that being a romance until that list came out, and I saw a lot of people making lists, and I was like, excuse me, that's a romance? This one I've seen a few friends talk about, and they talk about it being a romance, and I think it's a boyfriend's dad romance, which one of my absolute favorite tropes. So I did get this from the library and I have been meaning to read it for like 2 weeks now, so I need to get on it, but it's pretty short, but I would love, love, love to see this on the list. I think it has a good chance of making it because A Quick and Busy is super popular, and this one I feel like they're gonna put under romance. So we'll see. I think this is definitely a good chance of making that list. Okay, the last one I think might make the list is going to be Funny You Should Ask, because I remember seeing this cover everywhere and it has over 40,000 ratings on Goodreads. Now, Goodreads likes to throw in books that have like 8,000 ratings that I feel like nobody's reading. And now 8,000's a lot, but like compared to these, like It Starts With Us already has 50,000 reviews and it's been out for a week. So I feel like they like to surprise us with some releases. So that's why I do have later on down here a chunk of books that don't really have a ton. But I do think that this one has a good chance of making it. I can't even tell you what the plot is. I've never heard anybody that I know read it and talk about it, but I have seen a lot of people on TikTok talking about it. And I think I've seen it on the TikTok tables in Barnes & Noble, so I would not be surprised if this was on there. Again, I do like the cover though. I feel like it's a fun take on the illustrated cover. That's why it really stuck out to me, but I don't know if it'll be on there. Okay, so we have this chunk now where I'm like, I would not be surprised if one of these showed up as kind of like a wild card, where it's not necessarily the most popular, but it is something that Goodreads will look at and probably want to add on to there, because hopefully they are making this list diverse, so they will include some sapphic or romances or queer romances in general, or they will add some more by diverse authors. They always include Jasmine Guillory, even if her books aren't that good or people are not reading it. So Jasmine Guillory actually had 2 releases this year. I don't know how anybody thinks about them because I don't see anybody reading them, but I know she's always chosen to be on like Good Morning America and stuff like that. So we have By the Book and we also have Drunk on Love. Those both came out this year. Like I said, Goodreads absolutely loves to use Jasmine Guillory on their lists, which I don't know if I agree with that, but these two definitely I can see being on the list, but I don't know if anybody's liked them this year or if anybody's reading them, but I'm aware these came out. We also, though, have Maisie Eddings with A Brush with Love. I feel like a lot of people are reading this book. I think I also saw it on the TikTok table, so this could be a contender to be on there. I don't think that this is one that's like super popular like all the rest of them. Definitely won't win, but I've heard a lot of people have been reading it and enjoying it. I still have to read it. I think her second book came out too, but it is a surprise pregnancy, so I don't know how much I want to read it, but this one is between dental students and I think it's Hate to Love. So this one, I think Goodreads will look at this and think this should go on the list, even though it's not as popular as other books. Then we have Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandra Bellafleur. This one is a sapphic romance and I think this is book 3. I think book 1 ended up being on a list previously, Written in the Stars, which I really loved. I read this book and gave it 4 stars. It was a super cute sapphic romance and it revolved around a wedding and it was just really good. And one of them is like the friends with the friend group that the first 2 books are about, and the other one is the wedding photographer, I want to say. They had like a hookup in their senior year of high school and like really liked each other, but then they didn't talk about it happening, so the other one got married and now she is divorced from her husband and they're reconnecting, and it was really good, so I would love to see this on the list. I don't know if it has enough reads though. It only has 11,000 people who have read this book, but it's really good. And it has a 4.02 rating, which is really good. So I would love to see this on the list. Another one I would love to see is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This one was so good. I feel like, okay, she's a photographer too. So I feel like maybe she's not a photographer in the previous one. She's just a, okay, no. In the Alexandra Bellafleur, I think that she is just the wedding planner and like plans events and stuff, because this one she's a photographer and it's like the same kind of thing though, where they knew each other in high school, and the one that's a photographer, she is doing the photos for her stepsister's wedding, and it's her stepsister's best friend and like from her friend group, and it is so good, like so good. So they like see each other at a coffee house and like start hitting at each other and don't realize they knew each other from high school. Well, one of them recognizes them, the other one doesn't, and it's like a little awkward, but one's a single mom, and it was really, really, really good. I would love to see this on there as well. I could see this definitely being on there. High chances. I hope, please, like either this or the Alexandra Bellafleur, I would love to see on that list. It fits the bill of being illustrated, and these are actually like really good and really cute. We also have Dating Dr. Dill, which I actually have seen a lot of people reading, and I did not love this one either. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. It was alright. It was a Hate to Love, and the hero was just like not not it for me. But I do really like this author. I think she's really cool, and I love following her TikTok. I can see this one definitely making it because I've seen a lot of people reading it. I think TikTok has definitely picked up on it, but not my favorite, but could be on there. We also have Husband Material by Alexis Hall. I think this is book 2 to Boyfriend Material, and again, I did not love Boyfriend Material, and I think Boyfriend Material was on the list last year. I would probably not pick this up. Who is this? Source Books? I don't remember who published this one, but I don't think I'm gonna read this one because I was not the biggest fan of the first book. The first book, the one hero who was like super wealthy and like didn't care about anything in life. I was like, you're annoying to me, which is how I felt about Tessa Bailey's first book, where she was a social media influencer, and like I don't love that trope, so I did not love this book, but I could definitely see them adding this book onto the list just because people really love Alexis Hall's books, and this one did come out this year. We have Electric Idol by Katie Roberts. I did not love Neon Gods, and it was on the list last year, and I think this one, or I don't know if she came out with 2 in this series. Katie Roberts just cranks out books, and I've not been loving like the last 3 or 4 releases I've read by her. I liked The Dragon's Bride, but it was more just because it was fun, not because it was like a super well-written book. I have not heard the best things about the second book to The Dragon's Bride, and I haven't heard anything really good about the rest of the series, but Katie Roberts is definitely a really popular author. I could see people loving this book. We also have The Roughest Draft by Austin Seaman Broca and Emily Wibberley. I feel like this one is one that doesn't have a lot of ratings that Goodreads is just throw in there because they like it. I have seen a lot of people read it and really like it. I've been meaning to read it since it came out. I think it came out like really early this year, and the premise sounded really good because they have to write together, but they had a falling out and they still have to fulfill their contract and co-write this book together, so it sounds cute. I would really love to read it, and I could see them adding this because it like fits their criteria of illustrated cover, popular authors, one that people liked but not a ton of people read, so I could see this showing up on the list. We could see Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy just because, again, kind of like with this one, it just like fits Goodreads criteria, and I feel like it would look good on the list, but this one had really bad ratings. I don't even know if it was too low, so Goodreads did say it has to have a 3.5 or higher. I don't even know if this fit that because like nobody liked this book. Could see this one pop up. The last 2 are ones that I feel like they'll put on because they love these authors. So the first one I've actually seen a ton of people reading lately, and that is Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. I think they did put her first book on the list, but I heard really bad things about it, and I don't think that I read it. I think it's because people said the romance just was not good, so I didn't read it. It like took forever for the romance to even develop, so it was like way too slow. So I've been hesitant to pick up this author's books, but I've been seeing a lot of people on social media talking about this book, so it would not be a surprise if this one showed up. But we also have Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochran. I think that's how you say her last name. I loved her first book, which was, I don't remember what it was called, but it was on the list, and I had only read it because it was on the list, and I gave it 5 stars. I was obsessed. This one, I believe, takes place at Christmas, and it comes out November 1st. So this is one I feel like will be a brand new release that has the opportunity of being on there. It is a sapphic romance. It sounds super cute. I requested it on NetGalley over a month ago and still have not been accepted. So I don't know if I'll be able to read it early, but this is definitely one I'm going to pick up that I would love to see on the list because I love this author, and it could be a new release that pops in because I know Goodreads likes to pick books that are brand new, and you're like, how do you know this is something that everybody likes? Because it just released. But hopefully this one makes it. I did not include Mariana Zapata because Goodreads doesn't like indie published romances, so I don't see this being on there. I do not see any historicals being on this list. None were last year, and I don't even think like the new ones that came out this year that are all traditionally published trade paperback now with illustrated covers have even been doing that well. So I could not see any on that list, which is sad because I love historicals and I don't think Goodreads cares about them. But those are all the books that I think will show up on the Goodreads Choice Awards. Let me know if I missed anything because I probably did, but I had my core like 10 that I'm like, these are for sure going to be on the initial list, and then I have 10 that I'm like, they'll probably throw in because they feel like it, because who knows what Goodreads is thinking when they make this list. But overall, those are the trends that I've seen this year of books that will probably be on the list that people have been loving, people have been picking up, but also ones that I think Goodreads will pick just because they fit their criteria of being illustrated, traditionally published, cute, people kind of like it, so we're gonna just throw it on there, and from a big publisher that puts a lot of money behind the book. So we'll see. Hopefully they do a good job with their diversity on this list, though. I would love to see a lot of new authors, a lot of diverse authors, but we'll see if they include those. But that's all I have. So let me know what you think of the list, if you have ones that you think will show up, and let me know what you think will win. I'd love to hear. That's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.